Starting off today with primer, I'm going to be using my Natasha Denona Silk Canvas. This is the liquid version of their poreless putty that they have. I'm going to just take one pump. I have used this before and I know a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to just apply that where I feel I need it the most, and that is going to be T-zone and a bit on the forehead here. Again, I don't use a lot. It does feel really nice on the skin. The original potted version was a lot thicker to me, and I am not a fan of that one. I do have combination oily skin, and I think this one definitely works better. It was again purchased during the Sephora VIB sale, and I am so glad that I did. I went ahead and did my eyebrows off camera today. They do take the longest, so I went ahead and made it a little bit quicker by cutting that out. Starting with the eyes, I am going to use my Natasha Denona Tropic Palette. I've yet to use this, so I think now would be a good time to try it out. It does retail for $129, I believe. I will put the information in the description box below, and I don't know if there's fallout. As with any other eyeshadow look, I do normally use a eye primer. The primer that I do choose to use is just the Anastasia Eye Base. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on, and I will be right back.
Some days I move like water, some days I burn like fire.
So now that I have my eye base on, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Tropic Palette. Of course, what most people are interested in is this bottom row here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to incorporate a couple of those colors as well. Starting with a larger fluffy brush, this is the 228 crease brush from Zoeva. It's just a larger brush here. It's not quite tapered. I'm gonna use that with the color Sangria, and that is this shade here. I'm gonna go ahead and put that just starting on the outer corner to define a little bit more of my eye shape. I do tend to do my eye looks a little bit blown out and more in like a rounded shape. Starting off, I do like to define the actual eye shape. So here on the outer corner is the easiest way to do that. If you're ever looking to just define your eye, you can just take color in the crease or in the outer corner and put some mascara, maybe some winged liner, and you would be all set from there. So that's just gonna be a little wash of color. I'm not gonna take it any much further up at this point. Next, I'm gonna go with Gusty, and that's gonna be this shade here. And I'm gonna put that just below where I put the last color. And I'm gonna be taking my 225 Luxe Eye Blender brush. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more dense. This is a shimmer shade, and it's a little bit of a pink tone. So I'm gonna drag that onto the crease a bit, and mainly focusing on the outer third of the eye, blending with the previous color that we used just to add some depth and a little bit of warmth. I am looking at Nudist, and that's going to be this shade here. And just to tie everything together, we're going to run it along this first color. So along where we place Sangria, and then just blowing that color out. And the reason I didn't do this earlier is I did want to get closer into the crease, and I wanted to make sure to blend out all three shades and not just the first shade that we laid down. Okay, just so it looks like that instead of being a defined or a hard line. The color Tiger Lily, and that's this blue shade here. It is like a royal blue with, it looks like a little bit of a shimmer to it. I don't see any glitter though, so let's go ahead and take that just on the lid.
Some days I wanna push further, some days I wanna do nothing.
So just like that, so that it's in the center there. To blend out the shade though, I am going to go in with my 224 defined crease brush and going to take the shade Xena, which is this color here. It is a soft pastel purple. And right along where that blue is, just to help blend it into the other shades.
I just wanna be the best for me, even though sometimes we might disagree, so that I can be the best for you. That's all I wanna do. I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. Though I'm going through changes.
I am going to place Limoncello, which is going to be this shade here. It's a really icy yellow shade, if you can see that. I am taking the 226 smudger from Zoeva with that limoncello color to pack here on the inner corner. And then overlapping on that blue so that there's not a harsh line and they blend into each other, as well as the purple color, the Xena.
Don't mean that change. Oh, sometimes I go to sleep early. Sometimes I can close my eyes. Sometimes I smile like it's so good.
I'm gonna go ahead and, with no additional product, kind of blend that limoncello in with the other shades. All right, so just like that, I am gonna take a smaller flat brush just to intensify that limoncello in the inner corner. And this is the 238 Luxe Precise Shader Brush. It's just a small dense brush, and I'm gonna just pack that here on the inner corner a little bit more.
Even though there's pain underneath it, I just wanna be the best for me.
All right, now that we're done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start now with the foundation so I can finish up the eyes and the bottom lash line later. Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. So this one is in shade 34 Beige Medium. It does open like this. There is a dropper that you would use. It is a concentrate, so you do need just a drop or two to do your entire face. So I like to put just one drop on this cheek, blend, one on this one and blend, and kind of see where we're at that point.
Even though sometimes I forget to breathe, so that I can be the best for you. That's all I wanna do. I'll be going through changes.
I'm going to spritz my face really quick. This foundation, because it is so full coverage, then does tend to look a little bit cakey if you put too much, and I don't want it to look like that once I start putting the powders over it. So the spray that I'm going to use today is from Glow Recipe, the Watermelon Glow Ultrafine Mist. It says it's hydrating and a radiating spray, and I definitely agree with that. It smells amazing though, and it definitely is hydrating. So I'm gonna use that, and then I'm just gonna kind of go over with the brush now just to fully blend everything in. All right, now moving into concealer. I don't have any that are high-end, nor do I really conceal much. What I am going to use today though is going to be the Hourglass foundation stick. Mine is in the shade Shell, which is a shade too light for me, but I think that I can use it today for the purpose that concealer would be, and that would just be under the eye. I'm going to take a little bit on my finger actually just to warm the product up and then press it into the skin. Because it is a cream product, it does cover quite well, And I think that using your finger really warms up and emulsifies it so that it will blend a little bit better.
Though I'm going through changes, don't mean that I change.
To set the face today, I have a couple of different powders. I am going to use my Becca, and this is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh powder for under the eyes. And then for my face, I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown foundation, and this is the Sheer Finish Loose Powder. This is number 5, Soft Sand. Taking my Luxe 114, and this is the Face Focus brush from Zoeva. It's a flat top and it's not dense at all. We're gonna take some of the Becca powder first, and that's gonna be used under my eye. All right, and that is how it looks completely done. I don't find that there's any flashback with this powder. Again, though, I only use it under the eyes to set, and it is just a translucent powder. There's no color to it. Taking now the Bobbi Brown Soft Sand Sheer Finish powder. This does have a tint to it, and I am going to take it on a larger brush. This is my Zoeva Luxe Grand number 90 powder brush. Very, very like soft, natural hair, and I'm gonna use it just to set around the entire face. I'm gonna take a little bit of that in the cap.
Some days I move like water, some days I burn like fire.
Moving on to my face now, I am gonna go ahead and be taking my Nars Exposed Cheek Palette. This does have blush and contour. It also includes a highlight shade. So this is what it looks like here. I kind of just mix a couple of different shades, and I will use that. I tend to use a bronzer and a blush kind of mixed together, and I do take that on a larger brush. So that's going to be the Luxe Face Definer 101 from Zoeva, and I just kind of mix all the colors here, and we're going to just put that where you would put your bronzer.
Some days I wanna push further, some days I wanna do nothing.
All right, so just like that. And then the highlight that I'm going to use today is going to be the Hourglass Ambient Metallic Strobe Palette. It looks like this here. I did use it in the last video. These are the 3 shades, and again, like the Nars palette, I kind of just mix all 3 as one really beautiful highlight shade. The brush that I always use to highlight is from Zoeva. It is my 134 Luxe Powder Fusion. It's a smaller tapered brush. Just taking all 3 shades. This is a beautiful highlight, and it is really, really beaming, so you do not need a lot. And I am going to go ahead and use that same Tropic palette from Natasha Denona. This is the 226 Smudger from Zoeva. I am going to take the first color we took, which was Sangria, and run that along the bottom lash line. So it's really, really pretty. I do want to include some of the purple though, that's on the top as well. I'm going to use that same brush and going back into the palette into the shade Xena, which was that pastel purple. And I'm going to run that right below the color that I just placed. So I didn't put any additional product, but what's left on the brush, I am going to go ahead and go in and kind of define that blue just a little bit more, just so it pops a little more against that purple.
I just wanna be the best for me, even though sometimes.
And you know, I want to use this mint frost somehow, so I'm going to take out my finger and just tap it over that blue just to see how that looks. And that is beautiful. So I'm really glad that I did that. That's what that looks now. That is really, really pretty.
We might disagree so that I can be the best for you. That's all I wanna do.
So that as a topper on top of the Tiger Lily shade is definitely really, really nice. Now to deepen the outer corner, I am gonna go ahead and go back into that Sangria color. Only in that outer corner, just to define. Again, my eye shape I like to do rounded. So this is really gonna cut and round that for me. Okay, so that, I love that. Taking the Hourglass palette again, that Ambient, there is a brighter shade here that has a yellow tint, and I'm curious how that's gonna look on the inner corner. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that today. Taking one of these smudger brushes, so number 226, and instead of going into Limoncello, I'm gonna go in with that center shade here. That is in the shade Pure Strobe Light, and I'm gonna put that just right over Limoncello to see if it brightens it up a little bit. And it definitely made it more icy, so it changed it from a yellow to more of a icy white based yellow, if that makes sense.
I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes.
And I'm also gonna take a little bit of that and run it just right under the brow. For the lips today, I think the most expensive lips that I have are my Nars. So I'm gonna do kind of a mix. I am gonna put a Nars lip lacquer on first, and then top it off with one of Pat McGrath's new Oculus lip glosses, and then I'll be right back.
Though I'm going through changes, don't mean that change.
I am going to insert now pictures of the final makeup and show you kind of what everything looks like tied together. Thank you again for watching today's video.
Some days I move like water, some days I burn like fire, some days I wanna push further, some days I wanna do nothing. I just wanna be the best for me, even though sometimes we might disagree.